Hello, hello, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me for this series of free mini animal communications. The idea for this series was really born out of what was happening here in the United States during March and April-ish, maybe in a bit of May here in the United States with the coronavirus and the pandemic. Things were just so different once everything started to change and get locked down with the coronavirus. And I really wondered what the animals thought about that. And they encouraged me to make this video series. And even though we're moving into July here now in 2020, my animal friends keep coming forward and asking me to share their wisdom with the world. So I'm trying to honor them and spread their wisdom. So here we are today. And our animal friend today is a ladybug. So let me pull up its picture here. And if you're joining me live on Zoom and you have a question that you would like to ask this little ladybug friend, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom bar there should be a little button that says chat. And if you have a question for our little ladybug friend, go ahead and type your question in there and we'll ask it what it thinks. So I'm just going to go ahead and get quiet and start tuning into this ladybug and see what it would like to share with us today. First, drawing my awareness to the brightness of its coloring. Like it's very, it really is something that brings your eye to it. Yeah, the ladybug is saying we're special. We're a special branch of the insect family that can fly. And so, it's kind of showing the pill bug that we talked to yesterday, showing there are different classes of insects, and there's almost sort of a little bit of a pride I feel from it about I'm able to fly. Like it's really cool to be able to be an insect that flies. Well, I wonder what you might like to share with us today. This is kind of just an open forum for you. What kind of wisdom would you like to share with us? So it is doing a little bit of comparing itself to the pill bug that we talked to yesterday. And I'll put a link in the information when I post this video to that particular conversation with the pill bug, since it's bringing it up. It's showing, because it's reminding me that the pill bug talked about how much it worked with the earth element. And the ladybug is saying, because we're able to fly, the insects that fly also are working with the air element, and that the air element and the earth element actually go together very well. Yeah. And it's insects like it that really help bring more balance between the air and the earth elements. Okay, I wonder, is there more that you want to say about that, or anything more you want to share? Yeah, and as a reminder, if you have a question for our little ladybug friend, you can use the button at the bottom there with Zoom and type in your question for our ladybug friend. Thanks. I wonder if there's more that you could tell us about the balance between the air and the earth element, like how you do that, or I just feel like there's more. Can you say more? Well, it's also showing me bees and wasps and other pollinators. It's saying it's more, it's that it's not such an intentional pollinator, like bees and wasps are far more intentional. It's saying that if we pollinate things, it's a little bit more accidental. Um, so yeah, it almost feels like you kind of put yourself in a similar category as the bees. It says, well, no, actually, that they're different. It feels like there are insects that also are far more into the flying. So if there's insects that are just on the ground, and then there's insects that fly and do stuff on the ground, but there's also insects that seem to be primarily more in the air. So he feels, it feels like, sometimes this ladybug actually feels like a she. It's interesting. It kind of, the gender kind of morphs and changes. It doesn't seem to be real, like fixed. But it's saying that like bees are those kind of insects that are more working just with the air element, according to the ladybug. And so is there something specific that differentiates you, or you feel like it's saying we get eaten by different kinds of birds as well. Like you don't see birds necessarily chomping down on bumblebees. Like they'd be much more likely to eat something like a ladybug, or different, showing like beetle, like little beetle kinds of insects and other kinds of insects, that they're more likely to become food for those kind of animals. Birds in particular, it's saying. It almost feels like that's part of the balance. Is that right? Yes. Okay. I think I'm understanding this now. I've never talked to a ladybug before, I don't think, and so it's interesting how it's just the way the messages are coming through feel a little bit different somehow. I'm not sure I can articulate it exactly, but it's showing how that is part of the balance of the earth and air elements, because bugs like it tend to get eaten so frequently by other, like flying birds in particular, is what it's showing. Is like they hold the earth element that then feeds these other animals that are very uniquely tied into the air element themselves. Hmm. So do you feel like it sounds like what you're saying, tell me if I'm understanding correctly, that it is the earth and the air elements that you're really working with. It's not so much any of the other elements like water or fire, metal. No, we're pretty committed to the earth. um, well, and the air, but earth in particular feels very, there's sort of a thickness about it that they carry. Hmm. So I'm checking to see if we have any questions from viewers. Okay, I'm not seeing any come through so far. All right, little ladybug, I wonder what else you might like to tell us about you, or what you feel like is happening in the world today. Just whatever you might like to share with us. So it's showing it's drawing my awareness to its legs, and particularly like the ends of its legs, feet. Um, Showing it walking on the ground, and it's showing, what it's showing me is our as a human race, our disconnection from this earth element, like largely as a whole. It's saying, there are a lot of people who are very connected to the earth, and perhaps even more here in an area of Colorado, like where I live, where there's so much hiking and outdoor activities and people seem really, really into it. But it's showing how, and I think the pill bug talked a little bit about this too, about how as a human race, we don't put our bare hands or our bare feet on the earth very much. And there's a sense of, if we would do that more, we would feel more connection to the earth. It's showing like okay, she's like, it's like, yeah, Tracy, you've done lots of hiking, but you have always been wearing shoes doing that. And so you're having an interaction with the earth when you're hiking, but it's different from putting bare skin to the earth or feeling it. It's showing how even touching plants or trees, like even going up and touching a tree and just feeling like there's a way, since the tree grows up from the earth, of being able to feel that earth energy, just putting your hands on the tree. Is there, I mean, I guess I personally understand why it would be important to have connection to the earth, but it seems like there may be people out there who don't necessarily hold that same opinion. I wonder if is there a reason that you feel it's important for us to be connected to the earth, or um, well, you're not separate from the earth, is what he's saying. um, She's kind of showing like a view of the earth from space or something, where you see all of the earth, and it's like everything on the earth is an expression of the earth in some way, shape, or form. It's not like you just come from nothing. There's he says, and it's even bigger than that too, and that's kind of where that air or ether on a great bigger scale element comes in. Like if you think of yourself as part of the whole universe, like, okay, wow, sort of blowing my mind here a little bit, but showing how, scientists these days, like there's more space in between the particles, like antimatter in between particles than there are actual particles. So the world is made up, or not the world, but the whole universe is made up of like 90% stuff we don't actually understand in science at all yet, the space in between. And it's just showing how humans, somehow there's like this place they got off track. It's like choosing the fork in the road that kind of led us in a direction that maybe wasn't as healthy for us as it could have been. Where we've just become there's a large number of humans who feel themselves quite separate from other elements in the world. And yeah, it's showing like all these, that's really what war is about. That's what racism, sexism, all these different isms. It's about looking at the differences between me and you and deciding I'm better. And there's a separateness it's showing in the human race that, it's not that it's confusing, it's that it's not healthy. It's like it's showing me a spider web, and how really in reality everything, every being, every particle is connected through this spider web. But it's almost as if the humans come and like pull some of the strings on the spider web. Oh, I'm not connected. And it breaks the framework of the web, which is really the greater wisdom or natural wisdom of how it's like God's innate wisdom. The big spider web, it's showing like this was the grand plan, and humans just came and kind of messed with it in a way that broke the structure more than it actually helped it. Huh. I haven't seen it represented quite like that before. Yeah, there's a lot of information there. You've given me plenty to think about for sure. So I wonder, is there more you want to say about that, or anything else, or do you feel like there's a way that humans can find their connectedness to the earth, to these bigger parts of themselves, the universe? So, well, like I said, the beginning is having that actual physical connection to the earth or nature, showing, we've really, as humans, our evolution has been towards cities, urban areas, technology. And showing there's a lot of people who just don't have very much interaction with nature at all. They might walk by a small city park or something, but they're largely living in concrete and lots of electrical signals coming out. It's really encouraging anybody who lives in the city or high density kind of living. Was really encouraging them to find a way to either get out of the city, get into the country, or maybe there's like a local garden club or something, or rent a garden plot kind of community garden thing where you can go and look at and maybe touch and feel and tune into the plants and nature. This ladybug is really interested by some of the severity of like allergies, and how as a human race there have been a lot of people develop um, adversity to things that are nature and were natural for us to be exposed to, way back in the day, because we just didn't have a choice, or that that's just the way life was. And yeah, it's this ladybug's opinion that it is the separation from nature that is sort of facilitating or accelerating some of these allergies or adverse responses to things in nature. Well, it feels like, what comes to mind is, also what the pillbug said yesterday about, um, we're just disconnected from the microbes, and we don't know how to interact. And I wonder if there's anything you might like to add about that. Well, I'm not sure. It's almost like there's a bit of a split, because there are people who are still very interested in being outside, being connected to nature. And so it's almost like there are different tracks of human evolution available. And it's showing, it's like, well, it maybe it's not really going to be something that humankind gets to choose necessarily, because if evolution is real and it is natural selection kind of thing, one of those paths is going to win out. And in some ways it's like, I don't know. It's like rolling the dice to see which are you showing. Yeah, you're showing these dice rolling to see which one of these is going to win out. Hmm. It's kind of, I suppose, it's optimistic if we can hope that the one doesn't destroy the other, right? I suppose. All right, so we're coming to the end of our time here. So if you're joining us live and you have any questions for this little ladybug, please be sure to get them in. And little ladybug, I wonder if there's anything else that you want to be sure to tell us about today, or wisdom you want to share with us. It's showing any time, it's not just about plants and the earth, but connecting with animals. So it's showing me like, horses and dogs and cats and, you know, various different kinds of animals, saying it doesn't have to be a particular kind of animal because different kinds of animals resonate differently with different people. Um, but she's just saying there's a lot to learn about this sort of higher wisdom or intuition or um, understanding how the universe works, I guess, that's available when you interact with any other kind of living being, whether it's a plant or an animal or the earth as a whole. And there's just a lot of wisdom available. And again, it's showing the ends of its feet, its little hands, like it's almost like putting hands on the earth and allowing the wisdom to be kind of absorbed. Uh, he said it's a different kind of wisdom than reading a book. It's live play, it's kinesthetic kind of learning. I mean, you look at little kids and that's kind of the learning that they tend to do naturally, and is really encouraging adults even to like watch kids and how they play and maybe remember that in yourself. Like as a kid, did you run around with no shoes on and put your hands on the earth, and just to notice what that really feels like. Saying that kids just really know how to do it naturally, and that we adults could really learn a lot from that, express ourselves that way. Yeah, it is. There's a certain level of like encouraging us to have fun, like learning about nature, being out in nature shouldn't be like a, oh, you have to do this kind of thing. It should be fun. And bringing like if you have kids, bringing your kids with you, but if you don't have kids, bringing your childlike curiosity with you when you're outside and in nature and all that. All right. Thank you so much, Ladybug. Let's see, I'm gonna stop sharing here. So thank you so much for everybody who joined me here today. This has been a really fun series, and I hope maybe you all will join me again next time. So until next time, take care and be well.